Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with daily technical update. It is Thursday, the 7th of August. This video is for educational purpose only. There is no advice or recommendation whatsoever intended. And today we are going to talk Apple again. We talked about it the other days because we had a very strong move yesterday where it tested this 213.30 level. And RSI testing the 60 threshold did close below and did close below both. But if it can close this gap here, see it tried several times, but if it can close this gap, meaning if it can close above 217, well, then the RSI will also close above 60 threshold, and we have a confirmed bullish trend. So it actually turned around here. So let's see here. It will be crucial maybe today, but at least the next couple of days likely to be crucial. On the Nasdaq 100 market was bullish yesterday. And can it actually get up and cancel this top and reversal pattern here? That would be key in the near future. Well, the underlying data says possibly. RSI still positive sentiment. We are back above 60 threshold. There is, I think, a slight divergence on the RSI here, as we can see. Yes, a little bit. So we see it's declined a little bit. So it is actually in exhaustion mode, but it can actually be there for quite some time. And again, 22,670 is the key support to watch. Here, pre-market, we can see it's also ticking up, and that is the same across the board when we look at S&P 500. There is no divergence there on the RSI, as we can see, because you can see actually this. If I remove this one. Let's see if I can remove it. There we are. This peak there is actually higher than over here. So no divergence on the S&P 500, but still we have this top and reversal pattern in place, a bearish engulfing. So it needs to cancel that for further for new highs. So let's see if it can do that. RSI tells us yes, it can do it. But let's see about that. And pre-market, we also about 0.3% higher. The let's go back. 6,200 key support to be observed. So as long as we stay above that, then we're still in this bullish trend. Dow Jones unchanged yesterday, and same picture here. That has been for a few days. 43,758. It did close below there and then bounced, and RSI still positive. So moving on to the Asian market, and Hang Seng pushing higher today, and if it closes above 20,177, which I believe it will, then it has closed this gap here and is likely to push higher. Also RSI indicating likely higher levels above the peak we saw there back in July. So it looks fairly strong as long as we stay 25,372 above that level. Nikkei also pushing higher, and I think it will take out 41,280, and if it does, well, then it has resumed uptrend with a likely higher level above 24,080 to follow. Moving on to the European markets, this morning we have opened the EuroStoxx50 unchanged, but it is pushed higher above 5,278. Can it get back above the cloud? Well, then there could be further upside, but we can see here 55 moving average kind of putting a lid on it, so that will be a little bit of a struggle, really. And looking here on the CFD / the future, it is struggling really to get back above the cloud and the 100 moving average. So that will be a little bit of struggle for it there. So let's see if it can actually get back above the cloud and possibly into bullish territory. The DAX index, the leading German index, hovering around this 23,922, closed below yesterday, and trying to close above today, fighting with the 55 moving average. There is negative sentiment on the RSI. We're actually in the bearish trend, so let's see how it will materialize here. I think we could be range bound a little bit here in the near future, and I will adjust this a little bit, say, okay, if we start sliding back below 23,757, then the downtrend could resume and with a push lower to follow. But let's see, we are above the cloud, so slightly positive, but it is really struggling. Euro dollar pushing higher above 61.8 retracement yesterday, pushing higher today again. I think we'll reach 117 and the 786 retracement possibly today. And we could see RSI testing 60 threshold. If it does close above, well, then we are in a confirmed bullish trend again, bullish sentiment, and likely to push higher towards 118 and this peak here. And I think we can remove this one now. So very strong bounce indeed, and I think we'll continue above the cloud. And if we get our side back above 60 threshold, well, then it has confirmed the bullish trend. Cable, sterling dollar, well, trying to get back above this this neckline here and testing it at the moment. Let's see if it can actually get back above it. It is a little bit of struggling after this shoulder hit shoulder breakout, and if it's being rejected, and then I think we'll see it sliding lower towards 130 level. But for now, it seems to be a fairly strong bounce. And what I would do, I will add a Fibonacci to this one here, very short term, and you will see we are around 50% retracement. Could it get back up to the 61.8? Well, let's see in this pullback here. 134.20 area, but then it could be a little bit of struggle. But let's see if it's being rejected here at the neckline. It could resume downtrend. So we are at a knife's edge at the moment in cable. Then we have euro sterling. If the chart will update, there we are again. And then testing the little peak up there, 87.37, very close to the, and it's around the 786 retracement. If it takes it out, well, then expect a push higher, and I think it will also take out the peak here if it does that, and then push above 80 and 30 to 138.2 projection of this correction here. RSI back above 60 threshold, meaning we are in a bullish sentiment, and I think we will see it pushing higher. Moving on to the yen pairs, and dollar yen sliding lower, and it seems like it will slide lower and not bounce. And if it takes out the lows there from a couple of days ago at 146.60, well, then I think we will see dollar yen down to the lows here at 145.85, where we have the 55 moving average and also the 100 giving it some support. So that's why it seems to be trading at in that direction at the moment. Euro yen needs to close above 172.40, and I will actually adjust that, so we just add a little bit to it. 172.40. A close above that or break above, I think, would be enough, and then we have push higher. But for now, caught range bound down to 169.70. Aussie yen, well, still trying to bounce really. So its range is 94.80 to the downside here, where we have the 200 moving average trying to drag it lower, but we have the 55 and the 100 kind of saying, well, we want to go higher. So there's this battle going on at the moment, and can go on for some time. We have RSI still in positive territory. What I can do, I can draw a trend line on the RSI and see, okay, if it starts moving above the falling trend line here, where if market is moving higher, well, then it is a likelihood that we will also see a test of the previous peak there at 97.40.45. But for now, it seems to be indecisive in what it will do. Sterling yen bounced 50% of this sell-off here, and that is a little bit unusual for FX that reaches 50%, but I see it more and more. But we're still below the 55 moving average. Can't really get above there. But I think if it takes out the peak from today, then we will see a push up to 198, possibly up to 198.56. So, but we are in a bearish trend after breaking this rising channel like pattern. And we could push lower and take out 195. If it does that, well, then we are looking at levels 194 and lower, possibly. Negative sentiment on the RSI indicating likely lower levels. Aussie, excuse me, Aussie dollar above the resistance here, 65, pushing higher, and I think we'll see it up to at least 61.8 retracement at 65.46. Possibly higher. We are above the cloud, we are above 55 moving average. RSI is still not confirming this bullish trend, but I think it will eventually. So key will be, will RSI close back above 61 or not and push higher? And I do believe it will. However, if it slides back below 65, then it could resume a downtrend. The dollar Canada, oops, let's just resize the chart there. There we are. Pushing below, now the falling trend line back below there has taken back 50% of this uptrend there, and I think we could see it sliding lower to at least the 61.8 retracement at 136.90, and where we also have the 55 moving average declining, and but still giving a little bit of support. Positive sentiment on the RSI actually indicate we could see high levels, but as we can see here, the 100 moving average coming down, and that is really weighing on it or pushing it lower. So I think we will see at least the 61.8 retracement being tested, and then I think we could bounce from it. But if it moves back below and also below the cloud, below the 55 moving average, well, then we can actually push all the way down to the 786 retracement at 136.40. The sterling Canada. Well, I think we will see a bounce up to at least the 38.2 retracement at 184.56 in this region there, and then I think it's it. Then I think it will turn around and push lower. But if it takes out 182, these lows here 182 and a quarter, then we are looking at 181 and 180. EuroSwiss did something I didn't expect. We did talk about the possibility, but I wasn't so sure it will actually play out. But it did yesterday. They actually took out that little resistance there, and and pushed higher, and actually established a very short-term bullish trend that could take it up to 94.5 in this region. We are now in a positive sentiment on the RSI, something we haven't seen in months, not seen March, and I think we could see it push higher up to around that this level here. And let's see if it can say let's see RSI. Well, it's actually 176 for projection of this correction here, or this correction here at 94.47. So I think we'll get up in this region here, and then we'll see a setback. Dollar Swiss sliding slowly lower below the 55 moving average. So 61.8 retracement is there at 80 and a bit, 80.11. Key support if it pushes back below that and below the cloud. Well, we are below the cloud, but further below the cloud, and RSI back below 40 threshold, then I think we'll resume downtrend. Still positive sentiment with this break there. Should push higher, but I don't believe it actually. It seems like that was just it, and we will turn around and take out the 80 level. So 80 level key to watch. Dollar index below the 61.8 retracement, sliding lower, testing the cloud now. I think it will test the 786 retracement, 97.54 in a push lower down to the support here around 96.90, 96.85 is in the cards. More or less the same picture as dollar Swiss. We do have positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating that we could see higher levels, but it seems like it's not materializing. We have the 100 and we have the 55 moving average. Averages pushing lower, so it seems like we are slightly lower, but key will be down here around 96 and 90, 80, 85 level. Moving on to gold, which is now pushing higher above the rising trend line, the lower rising trend line there, and we are about to test the 3400. And if it does close above both, and RSI especially closes back above 60 threshold, well, then we are likely to see higher levels above the previous peak there, and also above the longer term rising trend line there. And I think we'll see it push up to 3500 if it can stay above. But the all moving averages are rising, indicating likely higher levels. Silver is also pushing up and currently testing the 61.8 retracement at 38 and 38.30, which we talked about the past few days. And if it can get back above the 60 threshold on the RSI, then and a push above here, well, then I think we'll see a move above the previous peak and up above 40 and possibly up to 41 and a half area. So that will be key here to watch the next few days. Will it actually break, or will we have a little bit of setback? But it looks fairly strong at the moment. Platinum struggling for momentum, hasn't really gotten away from this 1340 level, 1346. I think it will do it eventually as long as it stays above 1261. 55 moving average pushing up. We are above the cloud. We are positive sentiment still on the RSI, and an indication of a bullish trend could be that RSI gets back above its falling trend line. Copper, on the other hand, still sideways, depressed. Really, if it pushes below 430, then I think we will see it down to around 400 here. It needs to get back above 465, then we could see a push up to 495. Moving on to the energy market and oil. WTI crude oil closed below 64.70 yesterday. Still RSI positive sentiment, so a false break maybe there. And maybe this is not the real one. We talked about it yesterday. Maybe it is down here. It dipped below, but it didn't close below. So, and sometimes we have to be a little bit pragmatic and see what is the real interest here. 64 seems to be that one. It dipped below. I think if it takes out the lows from yesterday and especially closes below the 64, then the RSI is also closing below 64. Other than that, we could bounce from here, but this is really the range. Let's see about Brent crude oil. Tested the support there yesterday. And still above the support here at 66.34, which is key, and RSI still above 40 threshold, so still in a positive sentiment. EU nat gas sliding lower, and if we are really short-term trader, we can oops, what happened there? Let's try again. We can add a Fibonacci to this uptrend there and see where we are. We are possibly around 786 or something. Yeah, 786 retracement at 32.71. It touched almost there, just a few pips from it, and now it bounces, but we are negative sentiment, and we are likely to push lower. I think if we take out the low today, then we are down here to the 32, 31.30 area. US nat gas bouncing a little bit. If it moves back above 319, then we have a counter trend, and let's see if it can actually push higher. But we are still in a bearish trend, and we are likely to push lower. There's negative sentiment on the RSI, no divergence. Moving on to the interest rates and yields, US 10 years still bouncing from this 420, which is key. 420 is key support, so we could bounce up to 432, but it looks very heavy here on 420. If it takes out 420, well, then I think we'll be looking at 412, possibly lower. On the European yields, excuse me, bounce yesterday, keep bouncing today. but still in the bigger range between 258 and 272. It didn't close above 272 at that time. It did spike above, but if it does close above, bullish trend confirmed. The UK really also seems to be sliding lower in general. We are in a bearish trend, so to speak. 474, we could see it push down to 440, but that will also rely on what's going on with the RSI. Will it move back below 40 threshold or not? So it's a little bit in limbo here in this region at the moment. Not much to say on Bitcoin, still stepping sideways above the 55 moving average and above 112,000. Ethereum trying another time again to get back above the 61.8 retracement there. And if it can push above 3,800, then I think we'll see it resuming uptrend towards 4,100. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and talk to you again later when we get to that.